As protesters take to the streets for May Day around the world, we'll show you the impact they are making in the Bay Area.
And nearly half of all local immigrants are seriously thinking about leaving the Bay Area soon. We'll tell you why coming up on State of Events. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Marie Terea.
And I'm Majestic Bellamy. Defiant rallies and marches for better pay and working conditions marked May Day around the world. Cambodia, Turkey, France, and the United States are just some of the countries that celebrated the public holiday, sharing the day with International Workers' Day. May Day is often a day of protest for labor unions. A May Day march in Paris turned violent less than a week before the French presidential election. In Puerto Rico, protesters blocked roads and marched the capital. Police in Istanbul detained about 165 people in March. And Cambodia, thousands have marched, defying the ban on the holiday. That's just a few of the countries that marked the holiday. Back home in the United States, President Trump's immigration policy sparked peaceful nationwide protests, and in Alameda County, hundreds of protesters chained themselves at the county administration building to stop the ICE detentions.
And May Day rallies were not the only events that brought folks together for a common cause. While President Donald Trump held a rally in Pennsylvania to mark his first 100 days in office, here in the Bay Area, thousands of people gathered at Lake Merritt in Oakland for the Climate March. Over 75 local groups came together to exchange ideas to figure out a solution to help save the environment from the effects of climate change. Trump has called climate change a hoax, and many environmental organizations are urging his administration to take the issue seriously.
From the Climate March in Oakland to students across the Bay Area, here in San Francisco, SF State's Rosenberg Institute for Marine Biology and Environmental Studies hosted its 27th annual Discovery Day open house.
The day was designated to celebrate science on the Bay. State of Events Ashman Ram has the details.
A variety of activities at the Romberg Tiburon Center engage the public about wetland ecology, marine biogeochemistry, and environmental physiology. People also helped collect measurement data.
So they're called the European green crab, and they're invasive to our region here. And what we're doing now is measuring the demographics of these crab populations. So that includes how big they are right now and whether or not they're male or female.
SF State senior Kaylee Dean volunteered at the Touch Tank and tells us about her classroom experience.
I'm a marine biology student here at San Francisco State. I'm a senior. So we have two of our classes out here twice a week at Romberg Tiburon Center, which is our marine biology campus. And this is just our Touch Tank. So we have lots of different types of seaweed in here, different animals and invertebrates, and then we have some crabs in here as well.
Inside the laboratory, I learned about tunicates, which in a short form are organisms that help filter the water. After learning that they don't have vertebrae, I must say I was tempted to touch it, and when I did, it was pretty slimy. Many gathered today to enjoy a free day on the bay. Students and scientists took their time to teach the public about environmental studies. I was even brave enough to touch a tunicate. Live in Tiburon, Ashman Ram for State of Events.
Now to the South Bay. The eroding coastline in Half Moon Bay left one house on the verge of falling onto the beach. Today, that house is no longer a concern for residents. Reporter Chloe Ortega has a follow-up on the story about the after effects of a record rainy season.
With the powerful storms we've had this past year, the bluffs in Miramar eroded about 20 to 30 feet. The erosion left one house on the verge of falling.
And we just decided it wasn't worth the money. Like, we didn't want to throw a bunch of money into it trying to keep it from falling, onto the beach when that's going to happen no matter what.
The house was owned by California State Parks and used for employee housing. It has been vacant since it was deemed unsafe. State Parks decided it was time to take it down.
We want to create more erosion in this area, and so we're going to leave the foundation, fill it with dirt, and compact it to 90% compaction.
Foundation here is all that's left. State Parks hopes to prevent further erosion by stabilizing the bluffs, helping protect the homes further inland. I did a story on Half Moon Bay's eroding bluffs a few weeks ago. Now the house may be gone, but erosion is still an ongoing problem, threatening a popular coastal trail.
With sea level rise and climate change, it is a new reality that we're having to deal with.
Boulders have been put in place to help prevent further erosion, but the Commission has no current plans to do much else. From Half Moon Bay, I'm Chloe Ortega, State of Events.
After protests at the speaking event of former Breitbart editor Milo Yiannopoulos at UC Berkeley, university officials canceled an event featuring conservative commentator Ann Coulter. Coulter was scheduled to speak at the university, but school officials canceled it, citing security concerns. Hundreds of people gathered at Sproul Plaza at UC Berkeley to protest their right to free speech. Around 70 police officers were on site watching the crowd as students passed between classes. Police limited access at the plaza and even searched individuals for restricted items. There were no severe damages or injuries during the protests, but UC Berkeley confirmed that 2 people were arrested, and it is not clear if they are affiliated with the campus. Conservative demonstrators moved to MLK Junior Civic Center Park, a few blocks away from the campus. Coulter spoke in Modesto, where there were peaceful protests and no arrests.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, gas prices are on the rise again. We'll tell you how much more you'll be paying and what you can expect your money to go towards.
And stay tuned for a special report on the shocking reality of being gay in Russia, coming up on State of Events. Welcome back to State of Events. Over the weekend, President Trump extended an invitation to the Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte to the White House. The White House says the leaders discussed the importance of a U.S. and Philippine relationship over a phone call. The conversation included regional security issues, the ongoing war on drugs in the Philippines, and the growing tensions in North Korea. Trump made the call to Duterte towards the end of the Association of Southeast Asian Nation Summit, or ASEAN Summit, in Manila. The invitation currently faces harsh criticism due to Duterte's extreme actions on his continuing war on drugs. And many activists say that the Philippine president violates numerous human rights laws. Duterte has yet to make a decision regarding Trump's invitation.
President Trump's re-election campaign released a $1.5 million ad highlighting his first 100 days in office. The ad says America has never seen such a success in 100 days, pushing back criticism that his presidency has gotten off to a sluggish start. The ad highlights Trump's tax cuts proposals, job creations, his efforts to end trade deals, keeping Americans safe, and the government accountable. The ad also targets the media. The TV ad will air in major cities and target specific voting groups online. Trump's presidency faces record low approval ratings and multiple challenges to his campaign agenda. Bipartisan congressional negotiators reached an agreement on a massive spending bill. The bill will add billions for the Pentagon and border security, but will not fund President Trump's promised border wall with Mexico. If approved by the House and Senate, it will fund the government through the end of September. Votes in both chambers are expected by the end of the week.
President Trump tweeted that he thinks the U.S. could benefit from a government shutdown to fix the budget challenges Congress faces.
Tense negotiations between Democrats and Republicans may be closer to resolving as they appear to have reached an agreement on a new spending bill. Michaela Walker joins us in the studio with the latest.
Thanks, guys. It was a rare moment on Capitol Hill as Democrats and Republicans reached an agreement on a spending bill. Nearly $1 trillion to fund the government through September hangs in the balance. Let's take a look. Suspense of a government shutdown is gone and nearly $1 trillion is on the line. The wait begins as the House and Senate will now vote on a new spending bill.
The continuing resolution is never anyone's first choice for funding the government. However, this is our best path forward. This CR is very short term, very limited scope, and will help us complete our important work.
Sunday night's spending bill delivers victories for both parties. Republicans will gain $15 billion in military spending programs, which includes $1.5 billion in border security, but no funding for a wall. Democrats rejected spending for the wall as the president has not detailed plans for building the multi-billion-dollar barrier.
Build the wall, folks. Don't even worry about it. Go to sleep. Go home, go to sleep. Rest assured. That's the final thing we needed.
Democrats held off any cuts to domestic programs, which includes no cuts to Planned Parenthood and $2 billion for the National Institutes of Health. And sanctuary cities will be able to keep their funding.
Crackdown on criminal gangs, and that means taking the fight to the sanctuary cities that shield these dangerous criminals from removal.
This will be Donald Trump's first victory of a bipartisan legislation to advance in the House during his presidency. The House and the Senate have agreed to allow government funding through September, but President Trump's call for the shutdown could be an interesting plot twist. We will update you on this story as it continues to develop. I'm Michaela Walker. Back to you guys at the desk.
In Russia, the Chechen government denies that they have LGBTQ concentration-style prisons in the republic, but now victim testimonies say otherwise. Dwayne Hibbert joins us from Studio 3 with the details. Dwayne?
Thanks, Jess. Almost 100 gay men and men believed to be gay have been abducted and taken to secret prisons scattered all over Chechnya. 2 escapees of the concentration-style prisons are now speaking out. These 2 men spoke with human rights groups and the media, giving details on the 2 secret prisons in Chechen villages. Local newspapers reported the story of the mass arrests in Chechnya, where gay men were imprisoned, tortured for information, and even killed. Chechnya is known for its conservative, Muslim-majority values, and its homophobia is fueled by local leadership. Chechnya's leader, Ramzan Kadyrov, denies the accusations of LGBTQ prisons, following his advisor, Alvi Karimov's statement rejecting the existence of homosexuals in general. According to The Telegraph, Karimov says, "You cannot arrest or repress people who just don't exist in the Republic." Crime Russia reports that the arrests occurred in 2 waves, the first in December and the second in February of this year. Men were taken from their workplaces, homes, and lured into traps by social media. Allegedly, the prisoners' phones were taken where authorities tortured them to release the identity of their contacts. The Bay Area Reporter says at least 3 men were killed during their imprisonment by security forces. Experts at Outright suggest as many as 20 men might have been killed. According to Snopes, the U.S. State Department issued a statement on April 7th responding to numerous credible reports saying that the Republic of Chechnya had detained at least 100 LGBTQ people, some who had allegedly been tortured and killed. U.S. Senator Marco Rubio also spoke out against the Russian detention centers.
The United States and other responsible nations should do more to ensure that all people are protected and those who harm them are held responsible. We should use our voice on the global stage to call attention to these horrifying acts and to ensure that they are condemned in the appropriate way.
Donald Trump's ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, says if true, this violation of human rights cannot be ignored. Chechen authorities must immediately investigate these allegations, hold anyone involved accountable, and take steps to prevent future abuses. Human rights groups around the world substantiated the reports, saying countless men had disappeared, and those who did return were barely alive. This story is still developing, but the Russian LGBT network set up a system to assist queer Russians to safely relocate. They've received more than 30 letters from past detainees of the prisons, exceeding their usual capacity. Multiple organizations have started petitions to support and strengthen the voices of the LGBTQ community. I'm Dwayne Hibbert. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Dwayne. Coming up on State of Events, we have your Bay Area sports breakdown, and we'll look ahead at the Warriors playoff series with the Jazz.
An extra 20 cents a gallon. This may be a reality in the near future for gas prices. We'll tell you more when we come back to State of Events.
They say this is garbage. Useless. Out of style. They say that this is obsolete. Half forgotten, twice replaced, and then some. You are the re-originator, an innovator, the treasure hunter, master of uncharted territories and pioneered ideas, a voyager. And they say that this is secondhand.
Welcome back. In business and technology, Albany Clayton has information on Trump's new tech council, robotic orchard pickers, and so much more. Albany?
Thanks, Jess. The goal of the President's new American Technology Council is to modernize the White House's information technology systems. Council members include the Secretaries of Commerce and State. The only person missing from Trump's council is the yet-to-be-appointed Chief Technology Officer, which, according to Engadget.com, may be difficult to appoint because, as you remember, over 100 tech companies, including Google and Microsoft, filed a lawsuit against the president over his travel ban and crackdown on the H-1B work visas for tech workers. Trump's immigration policies have also affected the agricultural sector, and a Hayward-based robotics company is working on a solution to a possible labor shortage. According to CNN, over 50% of farm workers are undocumented, and President Trump's hard line on illegal immigration has orchard owners worried that they will lose a large amount of their workforce. Most agriculture is done by machine, but fragile produce like lettuce and grapes have to be picked by hand. Enter Hayward-based Abundant Robotics. They're building a machine that uses suction power to pick fruit that has to stay pretty enough for the supermarkets. Abundant Robotics expects to put prototypes of their machine in the fields of Spokane this fall, and the robo-pickers should hit the market by 2019. And in app news, it's the end of an era for our campus favorite. Since 2013, Yik Yak has let users chat anonymously to anyone within a 5-mile radius, making it perfect for spreading information about parties and other campus happenings. But downloads have dropped by over 70% in the last year. The drop was caused by issues with cyberbullying and options that would compromise anonymity. The app's co-founders posted a goodbye message to users on Friday, and in a $3 million deal, Square Inc. is hiring 6 former Yik Yak engineers. And finally, Airbnb is working to weed out prejudiced hosts. After a 10-month investigation over guests being turned away because of race, Airbnb has entered an agreement with the California Department of Fair Housing and Employment. The State Department will create fake user profiles to ensure that hosts are complying with fair housing laws. This agreement only affects hosts with 3 or more Airbnb listings, which is about 6,000 out of the 76,000 hosts on the site. This was a busy couple of days for Airbnb. The site lost its lawsuit against the city of San Francisco. Airbnb sued the city over a law barring home-sharing sites from listing unregistered properties. This comes after an NBC Bay Area investigation found that 76% of the city's Airbnb listings were breaking the law. In the settlement, Airbnb agreed to remove all unregistered listings and provide hosts with a pathway to register their properties with the city. And that's all for this week's Business and Technology. I'm Abene Clayton for State of Events. See you next week.
Meteorologist Tessa Kleinbell showed off one of our new toys this week in the South Bay. Let's take a closer look.
I stepped outside of the studio today to show you this gorgeous view. We're flying our State of Events Sky drone over Maury Point here in Pacifica. As you can see, it's a beautiful day. Temperatures reaching a high of 72 degrees with clear and sunny skies. You can expect that for the next few days around the Bay Area, and then temperatures will begin to drop with partly cloudy skies for our weekend. I'm Tessa Kleinbell. Have a great week.
California's population is now at 39 million people. The state added over 300,000 people last year, making it the largest increase in any major state. Sacramento saw the most increase this year, rising by 1.4%. Talk about traffic. California's House Department estimates that about 200,000 more homes would need to be built to meet the increase. Governor Jerry Brown signs a new law that raises California gas prices to fix roads. The new law allows a $5 billion tax hike per year. California drivers will see gas prices rise by 12% by early November and 20 cents by 2020. Also included in the law is a higher vehicle registration fee starting in January. Depending on the value of your car, drivers will pay a fee ranging from $25 to $175. Governor Brown says the money is badly needed to fix potholes and repair roads, which will help shorten commutes and save more vehicles. The new law also claims to put more people to work, adding thousands of jobs. Constructions on state highways will likely begin in the summer of 2018. Local street improvements may begin much sooner.
And as more people move to the Golden State, the homeless population is on the rise. According to a Bay Area nonprofit organization, State of Events reporter Uilani Gray is in Oakland to show us just what this increase looks like in 2017.
Tent cities are real, and homelessness in the East Bay is oozing out from beneath freeway overpasses, along busy city streets, and basically anywhere you can pitch a tent. With rising home prices and rent skyrocketing, homelessness is not a choice, but an only option.
They think that we're homeless and we want to be homeless. I don't want to be homeless.
Homeless people have an understanding, or you could call it a street code.
Respect each other and be a community.
We are a culture, not a problem.
Within these tent cities, the people understand how to live together and to help each other.
Above me is the BART station, and behind me is one of the many tent cities that are growing in the Bay Area. 5 blocks up is City Hall, where they're putting together plans on how to curb homelessness in Oakland.
One of Oakland's solutions was to create a makeshift encampment with tents, street barricades, toilets, and running water. Not everyone is happy about this. Neighbors who live near the encampment are frustrated.
I'm not comfortable with it, not at all.
My customers also don't like coming to this neighborhood anymore.
The Oakland Tribune says the city has a lot of work to do in finding a win-win for taxpayers and the homeless. In Oakland, Uilani Gray, State of Events.
And students in the Bay Area have more than just grades to worry about. With the cost of living at an all-time high and the graduation rates at an all-time low, reporter Vanessa Ariola talks to the people trying to figure out solutions.
According to the Bay Area Council's 2017 Public Opinion Survey, 46% of millennials said that they are thinking of leaving the Bay Area within the next few years. This is a growing problem here in the Bay Area, and with our graduation rates for state schools lowering, we have to wonder how this is impacting our students.
Every time that I moved, rent got higher. So it's either trying to make more money, get an extra job, but at the same time you still have to balance school in there. So it's like I'm stretching myself thinner and thinner.
SF State's current graduation rate is at a 47%. According to collegefactual.com, this ranks the school as one of the worst with graduating on time.
There was one semester where I had to move during finals. Of course, I had finals during that, and I didn't pass some core classes that I had to retake again. My grade point average went down, and I feel like I'm always constantly having to catch up to that one semester.
SF State could not be reached for comment, but with the limited housing available on campus, students are forced to commute or rent in SF. The average rent in San Francisco is $3,400. And with the cheaper option of campus housing, you'll still be spending almost $20,000 a year without tuition. These daily issues impact our students as well as Bay Area economy. In San Francisco, Vanessa Ariola, State of Events.
We're going to take one more break, but when we return, we're talking sports. We'll wrap up the Sharks season and look forward to how deep the Warriors can go in theirs. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
This is a great week for cyclists in the Bay Area. The Bay Bridge's Eastern Span Bicycle and Pedestrian Path will now be open every day from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. The path used to be only open on the weekends as of October 2016, but now the 2-mile-long path can be enjoyed every day. And welcome back. We have sports reporter Matt Fowler here talking about the Warriors.
So yeah, tell us about it. I heard the Warriors are going to the playoffs tonight.
The Warriors are moving on to the second round of the NBA playoffs after dispatching the Portland Trail Blazers in 4 games. Game 4 was anything but competitive, and the Dubs also found out who they would play starting tonight. So as you see here, Kevin Durant, he hits a 3, and it was great because he's coming off his first injury. And Steph passes to Draymond Green, who also had 21 points rather. Klay Thompson off the screen gets a 3, and then KD off the feed from Klay, or from Draymond rather, gets the dunk. And if he's on offense on one end, he's defense on the other end, gets the block there. Draymond gets it back out to Klay, who gets it over to Steph for a 3. And Steph had 7 3-pointers en route to 37 points. Zaza Pachulia gets the ball back, goes in for the layup, gets the and one, and is spilled. Klay gets the feed from Curry again for another 3. And then Curry, kind of a microcosm of what the Blazers had to deal with, the deep 3, and he gets that to go. And they would play the winner of Utah and the Clippers, and the Warriors said that they liked the nightlife in LA better than Utah. Well, unfortunately for them, they have to play the Utah Jazz, as Chris Paul didn't do too well this game. The Clippers really laid an egg, really. George Hill with a 3 there. Austin Rivers tried to get it going with a 3-pointer, but the Clippers only hit 6 3-pointers out of 25 attempts, as Mike Ingles gets the layup there, and Austin Rivers will get the feed here for another dunk. But Gordon Hayward really was the story here for the Utah Jazz, as he gets the 3 in the corner to go. And they just dominated, and the Clippers really laid an egg here as Chris Paul backs up and hits the 3-pointer. But Rodney Hood, a little bit too much for the Clippers, as he gets the and 1 there. Diaw gets the and 1, and this really was the dagger 3 right here. Let's listen to ESPN.
A contested 3. And 1. They're looking at 4.
And there it was, Coach Doc Rivers and company couldn't believe it, as they fall in Game 7. And so the Warriors will play the Jazz tonight in Game 1 of the conference semifinals. And they're honoring the We Believe team tonight, the team from 2007 that beat the Dallas Mavericks. Baron Davis and company will be there, and they're giving out We Believe t-shirts just like they did 10 years ago, so it'll be a good time.
Nice. What an exciting time to be a Warriors fan,
Yeah,
you know?
I really hope the Warriors win tonight. I hope they give it their all. So thanks, Matt, for joining us here at the desk.
Absolutely.
The Sharks ended sooner than many hoped with another first-round exit. State of Events reporter Justin McCarthy is live in San Francisco to tell us more about the Sharks' fatal season. Justin?
With the Sharks' 2017 playoff run coming to an early end at the hands of the Edmonton Oilers, the focus now shifts from the ice to the front office, as they must decide the future of 2 of the team's future Hall of Famers. Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton have been 2 of the Sharks' brightest stars since Thornton's arrival from Boston in 2005, but the top 2 picks from the 1997 draft, both age 37, may be on the way out. With both players becoming restricted free agents on July 1st, Sharks GM Doug Wilson has to make some decisions. A decision that could result in Marleau, who has played in San Jose since 18 and became only the 45th player in NHL history to record 500 career goals, and fan favorite Joe Thornton, who sacrificed his body during the playoffs by playing 4 games on a torn MCL and ACL, and became the 13th NHL player to record 1,000 career assists.
You know, I'm a little bit older and I realize, how good this team is, so of course, yeah, I'd like to come back, but we'll have to see, and I'm sure we'll be talking.
And while it may be hard to justify giving big money and multiple years to players in their late 30s, the tandem show no signs of slowing down. Now, the next 2 months are going to be tough, and the decision that comes from the Sharks front office may not be popular amongst the fan base, but Thornton and Marleau have earned the right to make this decision a tough one. And really, there's only one outcome that would be shocking: if they quit. Because as they've shown us over the past 12 seasons, they won't. Live from Holloway in San Francisco, I'm Justin McCarthy. Back to the ladies in the studio.
Thanks, Justin. In entertainment news, a new co-host has finally been picked for Live with Kelly, and his name is Ryan Seacrest. Kelly Ripa announced the news on Monday's show by bringing Ryan Seacrest on stage. The search began when Ripa's previous co-host, Michael Strahan, left the show for Good Morning America without even warning her. Since then, Seacrest has been guest starring on the show with Ripa and now will host and be executive producer with her. Fans are having mixed reactions on Twitter, some happy about the decision and some thinking Ryan already has enough jobs.
And Coachella finished last weekend with a bang, but another huge festival in what looked like paradise didn't have the same ending. Guests flew to the Bahamas to attend the first ever Fire Festival, but what they found when they arrived was a complete disaster and total chaos. Attendees arrived to find inadequate shelter, undesirable food and water, and their luggage missing. Attendees spent from $2,000 to well over $100,000. Festival organizers Jarul and Billy McFarland spent over $12,000 for the event, hoping to create a luxury festival that brings together music and technology. The Fire Festival organizers released a letter of apology on their website and promised guests who attended this year will be fully refunded and receive free VIP passes to next year's Fire Festival event, which plans to be held at a U.S. beach venue. A $100 million lawsuit has been filed against the organizers despite their refund offers. Well, we know people at Coachella were definitely having the time of their lives, but it looked like people at the Fire Festival definitely didn't have a lit time. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
Thank you guys for watching State of Events. I'm Anna Marie Terea.
And I'm Majestic Bellamy. See you next time.